Ladies and gentlemen, it is October 24th, 2017. We are here once again. After a brief hiatus, we are back with all the news and information you want concerning independent professional wrestling. And we've got something also extra, very, very special that we're going to be talking about this week, too. Something we're going to be involved with in New York City on November 4th, 2017. It's that time of the year again. Time for the big event. But I'm Hollywood J. Williams. Here's Dangerous Dan.
The big event? My birthday?
The other big event.
Oh, the other big event. I was going to say, my birthday is the big event.
Wow. Yes, it is. That is also a very big event.
It is.
And so is my birthday, a very, very big event.
Well, that's like a hiccup, but you know.
Anyhow, anywho, we're back once again. We're gonna be talking about that in a little bit. We're gonna have somebody's going to be calling on my obesely expensive
high tech.
This is the iPhone 20.
The J-O-Matic 2000.
This is the iPhone 20. Nobody else has an iPhone 20, just me.
Nobody else wants one, bro.
No, yeah, it's not something given to the general public, you see. But nonetheless, we're going to be having a special guest calling later on.
You know, they kind of like threw the J-O-Matic 2000 on you, kind of like, well, somebody ran over your head with a lawnmower this week. It looks like. Yours are a little lower.
I have a stylist. I don't have a hairdresser.
Well,
I have a stylist.
Everybody does. But let me tell you, that is truly a super cut.
I have one of the best stylists in the area.
Ah.
Yes, if not the best. I don't let just anybody touch my head. Don't.
What are you, The Miz?
Better than the Miz. You know I'm better than the Miz.
I think he's better than the Miz.
Well, we're gonna be talking about the big event afterwards. What we're going to be doing at the big event. What we usually do is we go in there with a camera. You're gonna be seeing evidence of that. Some of the great people I've met along the lines at the big event. Previous big events, of course. This time we're going to be doing something a little bit different, but we're going to be talking about that afterwards.
We'd like to send a quick shout out to our friends down the road down here at Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling, to our good friends Mario Mancini, Paul Roma, and Big Steve Tracy.
Absolutely. Greatest wrestling school in Southern New England.
I know, yeah. Least I forget, Big Daddy. This goes out to you, my friend.
Absolutely. Our friends over, and I'm privileged to say this again, our brothers and sisters in Public Access Centering.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Our good friend, the Fogman, and Bruce.
Absolutely. You could see them if you're in Wallingford. They're on Thursday nights, 7:30 on WPAA.
Tune in and check them out.
Right, exactly. If anybody knows about independent wrestling, it's Square Circle and it's Center Ring.
And Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling has a super big, colossal show coming up in the month of November. You're not going to want to miss it because we're not going to miss it.
We're not going to miss it, and we didn't. Well, you weren't there. You were tied up Sunday night, weren't you?
Look, what I do in my private life with several young, well, we won't go into details because this is public access, and we don't want to make our producer choke on her coffee back there, so we'll just leave it at that.
But let me tell you something. A company came to town and worked with Paradise Alley for the first time ever and pulled off one heck of a show. You had to be there, folks. Evolve 95. We don't have footage of Evolve 95. What they did was, it's called an iPay-per-view. So they had their own very, very high-tech, sophisticated equipment there. Lighting that unlike I've ever seen on an independent show. And they put this on pay-per-view on the internet. Paradise Alley had the first 3 matches. In addition to that, the PAPW title was defended in the second half of the card. But how the show ended, you have to go up on our group page, folks. It's the footage you'll see on there.
Now, when you're
as brought to you by Evolve.
Now, when you're saying our group page, Jay, for first time viewers of the show,
the Squared Circle.
That would be the Squared Circle on Facebook.
On Facebook, and YouTube, the Squared Circle TV. It's footage was made completely by Evolve Wrestling, and you have to see how chaotic the end of the card was. I've never before seen somebody get up on top of a basketball hoop and jump off. They, almost like a throwback to the ECW days. Just something that and they were very, very impressed with PAPW. Other companies they work with didn't have their stuff together like PAPW does. So with that impression, that being said, they're going to be back there in the spring.
Well, PAPW, Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling, is the company with the heart and soul of professional wrestling. They certainly have their finger on the pulse. They've got several red hot superstars, such as their champion, the most marketable man in wrestling, Richard Holiday.
He is the most marketable man in professional wrestling.
He's also got the largest ego, but we won't go there.
Hey now. Richard Holiday, you got Matthias, phenomenal athlete. R.J. Rude, of course, who's the newly crowned Intercontinental Champion, recently at Dieselmania. Marcel Williams. I mean, the list goes on and on. The House of Pain, a tag team out of the New York area.
And we're talking about a professional wrestling school/company that truly has a heart of gold. They've done many of their shows for various charitable causes.
Mm-hmm.
And our good friend Mario Mancini works with these causes year round. And as we know, Dieselmania 2 just passed.
Right.
And they've got Never Give Up, I believe, is the name of that.
Never Give Up is November 18th.
Is November 18th. And I believe that also is a charity card.
Right.
Which, like we said, we will be there.
We will be there. We will be there in full force.
Because, Mario, we can't miss your cheesecakes, bro.
Absolutely. Also, this past weekend, we were privileged once again to attend a Dissension Pro Wrestling event. We had, a couple weeks back, we had J.J. Alexander and Jimmy Mias, co-runners, along with Ed Wood of Dissension Pro Wrestling. They graced us with their presence here, and we were able to obtain some more footage.
And JJ is I believe, unfortunately for him, I believe he recently went through some more surgery. JJ is a wonderful personality, a credit to the sport. Certainly somebody that I consider very high on my top list of friends.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in keeping a small group of friends who I can trust and know that they've got my back, I've got their back, and JJ's right at the top of the list.
We made a lot of great friends along the way covering independent wrestling over the past couple of years. And JJ, I'm privileged to say he's one of them.
Yeah, and Sexy Jesus was on that card.
Right, correct.
And as a matter of fact, Sexy Jesus Hammer Tunis, we're going to be visiting his promotion this evening.
Correct. Well, exactly. I mean, this is the square circle for October 24th, but we are taping on the 21st. It is currently Saturday the 21st, but this does air on the 24th. Just to, I don't want anybody to think Dan had one too many Dan Weisers last night. Nonetheless.
Well, it's good because they let Hoffmania run wild and always have the Dan Weisers.
That's it. Nonetheless, we picked up a couple great matches from Dissension Pro Wrestling. Got them all queued up. We're going to be showing them. You know what? Why don't we just show them right now? Let's roll that beautiful footage, and we will give our commentary over it.
Certainly.
We are buffering right now. There we go. Unlike most of the times when we go out filming, we usually have a one camera shot, but obtaining the high-tech equipment here from ETV for this particular evening, we were able to use two cameras. So you're going to be enjoying a two-camera shot as you experience DPW Armageddon footage. You see Matthew James, the ring announcer there. You see JJ Alexander there to your right.
JJ Alexander, truly one of a kind.
Mm-hmm.
Some may say thank goodness for that, but like we said earlier, we're awfully glad and appreciative to call him a friend.
Right. The Epidemic, song leader Thomas Billington. No relation to the Dynamite Kid, of course. Never seen these guys in action before, but going up against J.J. Alexander's Revelation.
Well, that's the good thing about DPW. They give the talent out there who might not normally get a chance elsewhere. They're not afraid to bring them in, give them a shot on the card,
Mm-hmm.
and truly see what their ability levels are. And oftentimes it does pan out to be some great action.
J.J. Alexander introducing the newest member. There he just did it. The newest member of the Revelation, Diabolical Scott Lador, with a maniacal Jack Kruger.
There's the ring girl bringing the
Mm-hmm.
attire away from the ring. The referee is standing back watching the action.
Right. Yeah, 'cause you don't want to get too close to the action.
Well, oftentimes referees don't want to get too close to the action and don't want to get in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
But as we know, our good friend Slick Willie Thompson
Right.
gets right in the middle of it and into the heart of the matter. And here again is the second shot from a different perspective.
Right. Right along. Choking out the competition right there. This isn't a third camera. This is just me moving someplace else. All in all, what did you think of this match?
Well, I thought this match was interesting. I wasn't too familiar with the men involved in the match, so I sat back and watched and enjoyed.
Right.
I was curious to see if our good friend J.J. Alexander was going to get involved in the match, and if so, what type of role he was going to play.
Mm-hmm.
The referee laying on the count here. As you can see, the action was both in and outside of the ring. The environment which this card was held was a slightly smaller
Right.
arena.
Than what we're used to seeing. It's just amazing how they can get these rings into these small little venues.
Well, it is because you've got to have a area for the size of the ring itself, and you've got to have a certain clearance above head.
Right.
If they wish to do any aerial maneuvers.
Makes it a real challenge.
It is, but as we saw on previous shows, Isaiah Rex can manage to pull off some good moves, no matter how short the ceiling is.
Yeah, I wish I had. Maybe for next time. I wish I had the footage of him doing a moonsault in this venue, because the ceiling really isn't that high here, to be honest.
And I still say of the matches that I've seen so far this year, number one would have to be the ladder match that we saw at Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling, and the number two would have to be a Falls Count Anywhere between Teddy Goods and his opponent at
You mean Pioneer Valley?
Pioneer Valley.
Right.
Here we see hard-hitting Bobby Ocean in this match, and Slick Wagner Brown is the
Special guest referee.
Special guest referee. Slick Wagner Brown also operates his own school, Test of Strength.
Right. But here you have Slick Wagner Brown as a referee. You have Bobby Ocean defending the DPW title. You see Sexy Jesus Sam Martinez over there, just walking around the ringside area right now.
Well, Sexy Jesus may appear to be just simply walking around, or is he playing psychological games, trying to get into the head of his opponents?
Could very well easily be doing that.
Because let's not forget, Sexy Jesus is a controversial figure, whether he's with the closers or whether he's competing as a single figure.
There you see, I have his Action Ortiz. You know, there's
Action Ortiz, rumor has it, is coming to the end of his long, illustrious career.
mm-hmm.
Dude,
For a big guy, he can move around real good, though, as you just saw there.
and hard hitting Bobby Action just laid into Sexy Jesus, who attempted to come into the ring.
Mm-hmm.
There's some youngsters in the crowd enjoying the action.
Right. Bobby Ocean, one of the greatest workers out there on the independent scene.
Well, Bobby Ocean does puts in a lot of effort, not only while he's competing inside the ring, but oftentimes, and Jay, you can testify to this, we've seen him show up at shows that he's not even booked to appear on, and
Right.
he will study the competition.
Right. He'll study the competition. He'll be there. He not only is an independent wrestler, he also supports independent wrestling. I don't think he has an enemy out there.
No, and certainly Bobby Ocean is one of my favorites on the
Right.
independent scene because of the time that he devotes to.
Right. You got to respect that. You really do. Apologize for the. You know what? We have to. Well, this footage may be a little shaky, but I got some good news.
A little shaky. That's my department.
The tripod's working.
There you go.
The tripod for the golden goose is working again.
Well, moving forward, we'll keep this format, and we'll see how
Right.
it continues to work out. Sexy Jesus on the outside of the ropes.
Okay, back to the more steadier camera.
Yeah, I believe I was manning this camera. That's why the shots are nice, crisp, and clear.
That's the
Act-
high grade, high quality studio camera.
Right, and thanks again to our friends here at East Haven Television. We were able to get that high tech $10,000 camera.
Mm-hmm. This camera costs more than I couldn't afford the tax on this camera. Well, I might.
Looks like Action Ortiz has hard hitting Bobby Ocean up against the ropes. Ooh, takes him down to the mat with a thunderous hit. Action Ortiz springs off the ropes, runs Bobby Ocean right over. Slick Wagner Brown going for the count. 1 count, Bobby Ocean sits up, attempts to clear the cobwebs out of his head, shakes him off.
Mm-hmm.
Action Ortiz is figuring out what to do next. Slick Wagner Brown with what appears to be a discus punch. High kick. Action Ortiz down to the mat. Bobby going for the pin. And Action Ortiz kicks out. Now it makes you wonder, where's Sexy Jesus when this is going on?
I don't know. I think he might have been eliminated already.
I've eliminated some things in my time.
At this point, yes, triple threat elimination match. Out of the picture. And a win for hard hitting Bobby Ocean.
Well deserved win.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, hard hitting Bobby Ocean is the champion here of this
Correct.
promotion, which is DPW.
All right.
Now this match here, the elimination match, all men competed earlier for a chance to compete in that match with Bobby Ocean, and Bobby
Right.
Ocean walked away from this match with his championship still intact.
Yep, earlier on, Tunis gained the victory over Dan DeMann, Kenny Bengal, and the Concept, Johnny Torres.
And the concept, Johnny Torres is another pretty solid wrestler. He can brawl with the best of them. He can go high fly style if he has to, aerial. There's our good friend Jimmy Mees walking in the back.
Mm-hmm. Action Ortiz.
Action Ortiz taking a knee,
A bow, if you will.
a bow. Right, we don't want to confuse the
No.
knee action with what's going on currently in the
NFL.
No Fun League.
Mm. Oh, it's a really good card. I'll have to cue this up at some point. We don't have it now, but Big Jim Anderson and Big Jim Sullivan with Jimmy Mees taking on They Stopped Law and Disorder, Insane Dick Lane and Judge Chambers.
Well, Big Jim Anderson is a powerhouse. No matter where he goes, I'd hate to meet him in a dark alley. Thank God he's a friend of ours. And there's a shot of their color commentary team. That's Lurch.
Yes.
I believe that's yourself over there talking to them, asking them, can they do any better?
Lurch. Lurch, Brian Keaty, and the returning. There he is.
Joseph DiNucci.
Mr. Joseph DiNucci. What about that? It's nice to see Joey.
Joey's undergoing some rough times at the moment. We're not going to disclose that,
No.
but we certainly wish him well.
Absolutely. That's a solid card. Solid card. We'll have more ready, more available on our group page. Get some footage going on the YouTube channel as well.
Right, we're constantly both adding to the squared circle up on Facebook. Constantly check that page for more news, more information on the independent promotions going on around your area. Shows you may want to attend, you may want to check out.
Mm-hmm. We're there. We're there. We're there tonight for Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling's Horror Story. We're there at Blitzkrieg. We're there at PPW. Dissension Pro Wrestling here. We're looking to expand.
And oftentimes we're not there alone. As you pointed out, our good friends from the center ring are there. So many of the hottest shows on the independent circuit are lucky enough to have coverage from both shows. Our good friends at Wallingford and ourselves.
Yeah, and it's having two public access wrestling shows, isn't it? It's proven that it's not a bad thing at all. It's double the exposure. More people that can talk about these people, up and comers in the business. It's a good thing. It's a better thing.
Right, because there's many people at this level that you and I have seen through the years climb that the staircase and make it to the upper leagues.
Absolutely.
Our good friend Wrecking Ball went and had a tryout with the WWE.
All right.
Some of our friends are with Ring of Honor.
Mm-hmm. Right. T.K. O'Ryan, we knew him as a member of the Closers
Right.
in Pioneer Valley Wrestling, and he does show up time to time. He's not around like he used to be. Why? Because he's now with Ring of Honor. Him and Vinny Marseglia and Matt Taven, the new kingdom over there, and they're cleaning house in ROH. You know, so it's very, very important. There's a girl out of New Jersey that, you know, hopefully one day we can have her as a call-in, Karen Q. And if you go on YouTube, you can see her matches, and it'll just blow your mind away. Things she can do. And, you know, I know there's tryouts that recently took place at the Performance Center for WWE. So I'll leave that there.
And again, for any of the youngsters watching these at home, we do not encourage that any moves that are shown on our channel or that are shown on the Center Ring show that these professionals are doing in the ring, that we strongly discourage them to do that at them at home, because these are ladies and gentlemen that have been trained to do these specific maneuvers in and out of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And for those watching this show who say, "Oh, that's just make believe, that's just wrestling, they don't get injured," well, let me tell you, Jay, we've seen a number of our good friends go to the hospital because they've got some serious injuries.
Absolutely. Poor Ashley Vox from the Sea Stars, he was out 5 months with a broken jaw. Yeah, over something that happened to her in Philadelphia and Chicago. I mean, she's fine now. This is going back well over a year. But, you know, we've seen the injuries take place. You know, firsthand. It's not pretty. So everybody's trained professionally. Hours of training.
These ladies and gentlemen have attended places such as the school right down the road again, as ran by Paul Roma,
Right,
and Mario Mancini, which is Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling, or Slick Wagner Brown's Test of Strength. And speaking of that, we were fortunate enough to witness a good friend of ours, Ariana Starr, not compete, but actually step between the ropes and referee a few matches.
Yes. She did a phenomenal job.
Well, she was no Slick Willie, but
No.
Then again, who is?
There's only one Slick Willie. Brings us to our next point. Now, all this coverage of independent wrestling we do this, but twice a year, over the past couple of years, we've been privileged and honored to be part of something else, another dynamic, if you will, in professional wrestling. There's independent wrestling shows, and there's a whole other side of the business with wrestling conventions.
Right, and when you speak of wrestling conventions, for anybody who's familiar with comic and card conventions, or Star Wars, Star Trek, sci-fi conventions, or what just happened in New York, the New York Comic Con, it's along those same lines.
It's along those same lines. You get to see legends of the past, former WCW, WWE, stars, ECW stars. You get to see Ring of Honor. You also, in addition, can see some of the younger talent up and coming in the business. It's not unusual to see Ring of Honor talent, maybe Impact Global Force Wrestling talent, at some of these at this particular convention. Not so much WWE because they tend to prefer to have conduct their own autograph conventions sessions, if you will. But what I'm talking about is an event that is going to be taking place November 4th, coming up just a couple weeks from now, at the LaGuardia Plaza Hotel in East Elmhurst, New York. And I'm talking about none other than the big event.
And of course, Jay enjoys it because he never knows how many hubcaps he's going to come back with his car on, or on his car.
Right. Now, in big events past, we've had the honor and privilege of taking our film crews out and showing you, what the big event is all about. Some of the people that are there, I had the privilege of interviewing some great people, and it's been a pretty interesting ride.
I understand you actually had the chance to meet the late great Bobby Heenan.
Yes, we did, and the story about that, the ironic story about that, is a friend of mine. This is before we started covering it. Actually, you know what? We're gonna talk about the big event with the person that is calling me right now. Brian, are you there?
I am here.
Yes, this is Mr. Brian Barth of Sports Fans Promotions, one of the organizers of the big event.
Welcome to the show, Brian.
Hey, how are you guys?
Very good. How are you today?
I am good. I just went to the Legends of the Ring Wrestling Convention and was promoting there. I just was there. The big event's looking very good, though.
The big event is looking tremendous.
Yeah, we got Shawn Michaels, and then I had a couple of guests at Legends that were actually going to be at the big event, and I got them to do some videos. It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Right, got a little screen show of what you got coming up. What exactly I got? Ariana Celeste, Brittany Palmer.
Yeah, well, those are the UFC girls. That's kind of a new thing for us. We've never really had them before.
Melina Rocca. We got Scott Hall coming.
Yeah, he's always great.
Shawn Michaels, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And New Age Outlaws. That's just a few of the names I have, but tell us a little bit more.
There's just tons of names. I mean, if you go on the website, sportsfanpromotions.com, or Big Event New York NY.com, there's a whole list of names. It's really tremendous, and it's kind of something for everyone. Is the best way to put it.
Best way to put it, yeah, right. If you're a fan of old school wrestling, you're there. If you're a fan of women's wrestling, it's just phenomenal every time we go.
We have Paul Orndorff there. We have Tori Wilson. I mean, it's just never ending.
Now, Brian, can I ask, what is your selection process for seeing who's going to be at the event?
I'd like to tell you that there's some great formula, but there's really not. A lot of the guests are brought in by independent promoters, and whoever they want to bring in, they do. In terms of the big event, we try and pick people that haven't been there before, but we've done quite a few of these already, and it's getting harder and harder to find fresh talent, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
But the good news is that there's new wrestling fans that come out all the time, and there's so many people there that there's plenty to see.
Absolutely, yeah, right. It's never a dull moment. You're never going to have the same exact big event twice, right?
And I'm a believer in, even if you wanted to see every single person there, it would be kind of hard,
Absolutely. You're not really going to get the chance to shake everyone's hand.
Yeah, you almost gotta pick and choose who you want or who you don't want, which is kind of a shame, but it's also kind of good.
You have Legends of Extreme. That's something I haven't seen you guys do yet with ECW.
Well, I mean, basically that's where they take a bunch of people and you can get a group photo op. And that's obviously been done before, but Legends of the Extreme like that probably have not been done before.
Right. And something else that hasn't been done before, I was just talking about how we're usually there with the camera and we, conduct an interview or two or several dozen. But this time around, we're branching out. We're diversifying for the first time ever and doing a podcast from there. We're going to be at a table.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm working on a possible surprise to you guys, which I should have a confirmation very soon. But we can't discuss that yet.
No, we can't discuss that. Nothing's etched in stone. We're keeping our options open. Just what it is I'm sure it's different enough. I don't believe it's ever been done before, a podcast at the big event, and it might be something people are attracted towards. But it always helps if any kind of help that anybody can give us. We definitely would appreciate it. Let's just say that.
Well, I guarantee you guys are going to have some people coming over and doing live interviews and stuff like that.
That's what it's all about.
It should be a good day for you guys, and you're going to meet some good people. And as always, you may want to interview some of the fans. I always believe that some of these things are great when you find out what the fans like, and because it really is all about the fans.
Oh, absolutely. Right now, I only have one microphone. I'm probably going to be getting another one, and you know what? And if we're sitting there, if anybody wants to, anybody, even a fan, if they want to give a quick shout out, we'll be there.
Are you guys going to have video equipment this time, or just the audio only?
Probably just the audio.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it's one baby steps. We're a little late. Podcasting has been happening for years now, but we have to jump on board at some point.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the big event should be good. It always is, and we're already trying to come up with what we're going to do for March, and I already have a couple things in the works, which I can't really talk about yet.
What's your date in March? Because this is November 4th here, which is in 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I'm gonna double confirm it, but I believe it's the first Saturday in March. But we'll get that confirmed this week.
Okay. Absolutely.
And then if you guys want, I can come back on, anytime you guys want on your show and do interviews and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Some Saturday morning we'll have to. If you ever feel ambitious enough, we'll give you our address. You're always welcome.
Okay. You know what I mentioned to you guys a while ago, and we never did it. I think it would be interesting to take a normal girl, normal lady, whatever you want to call it, have them watch a wrestling show, and then do a feedback on it, and get someone who has no wrestling likeness or anything like that, and have them watch it. And get some feedback, what they like or didn't like.
Somebody that's never, ever seen wrestling before, ever.
Exactly. No opinions of it, no nothing. Just, shall we say, a virgin fan, or a virgin period.
Right.
Well, I think we're looking at somebody who might be up to that task.
How are you?
Possibly. Okay. I don't know. She's shaking her head no. But... Well,
if she's watched wrestling before, she doesn't qualify.
Well, of course. You have to have never seen wrestling before, ever.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You gotta find it. And they're out there, or just, saw it for 2 seconds and flipped it,
Yeah, or somebody that stopped watching it when they were 5 at least, or something like that.
No, never. You gotta find someone that's never watched more than 5 minutes of it in their life.
Wow.
No. So what he's talking about, Jay, is we need somebody who's like yourself, a virgin,
Hey.
and never crossed the territory before.
He's dangerous, Dan. Don't mind him.
Hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Brian, thank you very much.
Not a problem. Anytime you guys need anything, let me know.
Absolutely, and as soon as you find out anything, just this is my number. Just give me a call.
Okay, we'll do.
All right, thank you very much.
Bye.
Brian Barth from Sports Fans Promotions.
And just looking at the what we're seeing here, Jay, scrolling through.
Right.
I mean, you've got Taylor Hendricks, you've got Shawn Michaels, you've got Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon,
Right.
the bad guy. Tori Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme
That's something
at
I'm
this
interested
show.
in right there is the Legends of Extreme.
Yeah, that should be interesting. Paul Orndorff, we longtime fans remember Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Wonderful
Mr.
Orndorff.
Wonderful. Speaking of Paul Orndorff, he teamed with Paul Roma at one point. Pretty wonderful.
Yeah, and now Paul Roma is, as we keep mentioning through the show, one of the instructors down at Paradise Alley Professional Wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's just a small sampling of some of the people that are going to be at this big event. But we're going to run through some of these interviews before we.
And we're going to be doing, as we mentioned, you heard Jay mention with Brian, Mr. Barth, we're going to be doing a live podcast from there.
Right. Well, we're going to be doing a podcast from there.
Well, a podcast from there, and we will have more details on that for you,
Right.
you the viewers, as the weeks get closer to the event.
Right. A lure to the table. Let's just say you might see us sitting there with somebody signing autographs.
Yeah, and Brian says he's working on a surprise, and with Mr. Barth, you never know.
You never know. I mean, he's surprised us before. It's not going to be the first time, and it's not going to be the last time. But let's show you some of our past experiences here, or my past experiences. We're here at the big event today with WWE Hall of Famer Bushwhacker Luke.
Whoa, g'day mateys, it's great to be back in LaGuardia for the big event, and I'm singing with my fans and everybody's fans coming in. If it wasn't for these people, I wouldn't be here today. Boy, you looking lovely today too. Let me give you a lick, mate. Tastes like bloody sardines, mate.
Well, it's glad to see you here. What else do you have going on besides?
Other things going on, mate. Other things going on. If you're down in Clearwater Beach for the winter, come and see me. I'm right on the beach, Manly Avenue, Clearwater Beach Fitness, right above Hulk Hogan's beach shop. So all you people, the northerners, when it starts snowing and gets cold, come down to Florida for fun in the sun or rest and relaxation.
Oh, I agree.
See you there, mate.
Oh, next time I'm in Florida, I'll definitely check you out. Well.
No, that was Bushwhacker Luke. Of course, longtime fans will also remember him as one half of the Sheep Herders.
Right. And here we have Disco Inferno and another person. I am here with WCW legend Disco Inferno. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm doing good. How are you?
Very, very good. What have you been up to? Where have you been hiding at the last 20 years?
Well, I've been doing podcasts. If you listen to Podcast One lately, I'm on 2 shows. Conan's Keep It 150, Keeping It 100 on, and you can catch it on Wednesday nights and Thursday mornings. It drops on Podcast One. I also do Vince Russo's The Brand on Mondays. His show on Podcast One.
awesome. Yeah, we talked to Vince Russo last year here.
Nice.
Definitely.
They got me here tonight. Today, they got me at a table with Raven, and he's very aggravating. And because he's been putting himself over the entire time. So it's like I've just had to sit here listening to him the whole time, and it's kind of annoying. To be honest.
No.
So thank God I'm talking to you for a few minutes here.
Maybe you'll have to have an arm wrestling match with him later.
Oh, he'll beat me, but I mean, it's just kind of aggravating. Every time I see him, he tries to get on my nerves and stuff. So. Yeah.
Maybe he's doing it on purpose.
Well, no, he is doing it on purpose. Yes, exactly. Not a mate. It is. Yeah.
Anything else you got going on coming up?
Nothing much really. Just living the life, doing my thing. So
Definitely. We'll just definitely check out your podcast.
cool. Awesome, man.
Awesome. Thank you.
And of course, that's Disco Inferno. And from what I heard, I understand that in the movie Saturday Night Fever, people who enjoyed that movie Denny Terrio taught John Travolta those moves, but the Disco Inferno taught Denny Terrio because he is the Disco Inferno.
Disco Fever. Here's the next clip. It's HD. We are here at the big event with ODB and...
Hi, how you doing? Yeah, big event, bam, bitches.
We got Soraya Knight here.
How do you do? You okay?
Great. How are things going here today?
Busy. We
We
keep getting
just
quiet.
got in and it's been good.
Yeah.
Haven't stopped. First half hour is going good. About 11 to other one, about 4 more hours.
Yep, but not only that,
can't
people look at us and they just burst into tears. I just don't know. Maybe our fragrance, I don't know.
Yeah.
But everyone seems to be crying today.
You gotta watch out for me
Like-
and her.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah, watch this space, baby.
Where can we find the two of you on social media real quick?
I'm all over the place. The ODB BAM. Google me. You'll find it. Yeah.
I see you're selling your barbecue sauce. They're trying to compete with Jim Ross.
I got my own barbecue sauce and hot sauce. Go to my website, odbbam.com.
Actually
Get you
promised,
some.
she's promised that if all her hot sauce sells out, that she's going to take off her top and smear whatever is left all over it.
I got a lot of hot sauce.
So
to sell.
she's got a bag of hot sauce to sell. So I advise everybody to come here and buy her hot sauce because I want to see these baps covered in hot sauce.
Shit.
Really need to see that.
You're gonna get me in trouble here.
Ladies, thank you very much.
Start drinking.
No worries.
Jay, you almost had your hands full with that one.
One more before we wrap things up, but I want to have a quick disclaimer on this one. The person I am interviewing, I made a little bit of a mistake, and I introduced her. I mean, it's the same person, but I introduced her as WWE Hall of Famer Medusa. She is actually in the WWE Hall of Fame as a Lunder Blaze, so my apologies on that. But just entrenched in the day, if you will.
Well, as you referred to her as Medusa also, as many people may know who follow NASCAR, who follow the monster truck circuit, was involved in the monster truck circuit for a while.
Right. Absolutely. And here we go. We are here with WWE Hall of Famer Medusa.
Alundra Blaze, let's just make that straight.
Alundra Blaze.
It's a Alundra Blaze, yes, but everyone knows me as Medusa.
Everybody knows you as Medusa. Everybody remembers WCW Nitro and throwing
the title in the trash. The infamous night that actually started the Monday Night War.
It did.
I did.
You fired the first shot.
I did. Actually, it was when Eric Bischoff called me and said, "Hey, Deuce, what you doing?"
And then it all started.
Yes, you know what? And it is so great to be here because I remember this was like the first event that I actually was signing autographs since I retired from pro wrestling in 2001. And when I got a call to do signings, I was like really hesitant and scared because I saw the movie The Wrestler and I was freaking out. You know? I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. And then I remember that this is my roots. These are my people. This is my background. These fans made me who I am today. And I'm very gracious and grateful and very humbled to be here to have all the fans sign for me. And I want to say thanks to the promoter, thanks to my personal promoter that got me here. This is the second time that I've been here signing. I don't know if it's exactly this plaza, but for the same promoter. So I want to say thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Definitely.
Looking mighty sharp, dude.
Oh, thank you. Just a quick thing. What do you think of the state of women's wrestling today? Do you have any advice to any females wanting to get into the sport today?
Pro wrestling is changed very much so from back when I was wrestling. And before me, we really have to pay respect to the women that actually made it happen. From, you know, the Moolahs and that era, which I call the golden era. And then from that era, there was another era. And then there was my era, which I call the lost era. But when I came into wrestling, I knew that I wanted to set a standard so high that I wanted to change women's wrestling. I wanted respect. I knew that women's wrestling was not only a sport, but an area and a position for women to excel as well as the guys. When I came into pro wrestling, I didn't want to be looked at as just eye candy. I didn't want to be looked at just wrestling in mud and prancing around in my bra and panties, because that's not what I was about.
Can't blame you.
And even though you probably gawk at it and look at it, and I have respect for the women, because every era, if you noticed, was a transition to where they are now, and I'll get to your question, which is. And so when I got into it, I noticed, fast forward, that the transitioning was changing in women's wrestling, and I did not like it at all. So I knew I had to either go with it, with something I didn't like, or say time to retire. And it was time for me to retire from pro wrestling because I didn't accept what was going on. Then, so many years, we're supposed to wrap it up now because he needs to get going over here, that we are in a position right now to make a difference. To make a difference in women's wrestling. Charlotte, Sasha, Bailey, Natalia, all of those girls and more, and the Bellas, I love you girls, that are empowering women. And I want to say thank you for carrying on the legacy and something that I fought so hard for and lost so much. Thank you very much. I love all of you.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that's it. Awesome. We're going to be very, very privileged to be there again. More information on the podcasting. We're going to, any news we have, we'll definitely let you know which channel we're going to be on for podcasting, and we're going to diversify, and we're branching out.
We're branching out.
We're branching out. Your life, you bet.
We keep, as Medusa said, the phrase transition. We were in a dark period for a while, but now we're back 110%.
Mm-hmm.
We keep taking it to the next level, getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
And that's right. I have nothing further.
Well, you know, Jay, a lot of people say wrestling is phony. It's fake. It's all storyline. But there's also things that are in the real world, quote unquote, that are phony and fake and untrue. And with that, it's time for our...
Well, you're bringing it back now.
Worst of the week. I was reading the local edition of the paper, and I came across the following ad. Now, this ad, there's not one word of truth in this ad. It's phony, it's fake, and it's ridiculous.
Is it fake news?
It's fake news, my friend.
It's fake news.
It's fake news. So, like we said, this is the worst of the week. And anybody who would believe this, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to personally tell you. But if you see me on the street, come on up to me. I'll discuss it with you.
Again, too, worst of the week, and of course the views and opinions of Dangerous Dan.
Yeah,
or just that.
Yeah, if you see me on the, if you see me in the gym, working out the 26.5-inch pythons. I'll discuss it with you. Don't be afraid. Step right up.
For now, we'll see you at the big event, November 4th.